Welcome to EuroPCR 2025. My name is Didier Tchetche from Toulouse, and I have the great privilege to be joined today by Andreas Baumbach from the UK and Juhl Terkelsen from Denmark. So we're going to discuss, guys, together the latest data coming from the LANDMARK and the Compare-TAVI trial. Very important piece of literature information that is going to impact our daily practice. Maybe I can start with you, Andreas, could you provide us an update on the LANDMARK at 1 year?
Absolutely. LANDMARK 1 year, to remind us, LANDMARK is a randomized controlled trial that looks at new technology, Myval and Myval Octacor. This is a valve made in India that has as a unique point intermediate sizes, is a balloon-expandable valve, and was put to the test against the contemporary valves, the Edwards Sapien series and the CoreValve or Medtronic self-expanding valve series. We published the 30-day results last year in the Lancet. That was the safety endpoint, and there was no difference between the groups. And now we have 12-month results, which look beginning to look at efficacy. And again, the comparison that we were presented is between 50% Myval and on the other side the contemporary put together as a group. The basic result is the combined endpoint was at 13 and 13.1%, and all of the other individual parameters look pretty much the same. There is no difference in the outcome, which just says that this valve stands the test and is comparable to the devices we use.
So still it confirms the reassuring data that we had at 30 days. In terms of clinical outcomes, it seems to be similar. And Juhl, on the Compare-TAVI trial, you have a slightly longer follow-up. And can you update us about the 3 years data that you just presented?
So the Compare-TAVI 1 trial was also a head-to-head comparison between Myval series and Sapien series. It was 1,031 patients. Just last month we published the 1 year data in Lancet, showing that if you look at death, stroke, or aortic regurgitation or valve deterioration, there's no difference between the valves. But it happens that we initiated the study in 2020 and the last patient was included in 23. And in between we had a pause in enrollment for 1 year because of some patent-related disputes. But this means that in the first part of the study we randomized between Sapien and Myval, whereas in the second part we randomized between Sapien and Myval Octacor. And this means that the first part of the study have now crossed 3-year follow-up, and these data were presented yesterday. So it's 379 patients, actually 192 Sapien and 183 Myval. And it shows that if you reanalyze the composite endpoint at 3 years, the same death, stroke, regurgitation and valve deterioration, there's no difference. So this reassures us that we have been safe treating patients with this new valve on the market. And to follow up on that, we also made a collaboration with the LANDMARK steering committee. So actually because they presented 1 year data also just yesterday, we pooled the individual level data from both the LANDMARK and the Compare-TAVI, and then we reanalyzed the same composite endpoint. And if you combine these two studies, you now have more than 1,600 patients. And again, it shows that Myval is non-inferior to Sapien regarding this composite endpoint.
And these are quite hard endpoints that are used in the vast majority of the randomized trials today. Andreas, are there any differences between the first generation Myval and then the new generation that you have just mentioned, the Octacor?
I think there's no real noticeable difference in terms of the handling, and we're looking at yet another iteration coming up, the Octa Pro. But I do think there are some differences in the outcomes, and we will have the Compare-TAVI for that, to look into that. I think that's the biggest data set.
And there was, Juhl, One thing that was quite striking and interesting in the first set of data that we had was the hemodynamics. That seems quite favorable to that platform for a balloon-expandable platform. Other trials have demonstrated that when you use self-expanding valves, you have better hemodynamics as compared to balloon-expandable valves. But it seems to be quite competitive in terms of hemodynamics with this new balloon-expandable valve platform.
Yeah, so we analyzed both on Compare-TAVI 1 but also on the pooled data set. We analyzed the association between area measured by CT and then the effective orifice area measured by echo. And for every area you can see that you achieve a larger effective orifice area with the Myval compared to the Sapien. So it must be something with either the construction, the suturing, or maybe even the leaflets. But consistently you see for all sizes that you achieve a higher effective orifice area. Whether this translates into durability, we don't know yet, but we will have to follow them. And we, as in the LANDMARK both studies, will follow the patients for 10 years. So it would be interesting to see if these differences translate into differences in durability. But we have no data on that yet.
So durability is one of the issues. So Christian said 10 years follow-up of the LANDMARK trial. So do you think that we're going to see a meaningful impact of these hemodynamic differences at one specific time point?
Well, I think these hemodynamic differences, they are there. They're there for a reason. There's an engineering explanation, and I think Resilia has now caught up with that and achieves similar hemodynamic results. That's on that topic. In terms of longevity and benefits of all these design aspects, including the intermediate sizes that ensure that the valve is perfectly implanted to size and works at an optimal level, I would expect that to show in terms of valve durability at 5 to 10 years, not acutely.
So what I learned today from you guys is the clinical equipoise in terms of this new balloon-expandable TAVI platform as compared to the most commercially utilized devices that we use in daily practice in terms of very strong hard endpoints. With reassuring data at 3 years in terms of follow-up and clinical impact, and we need to wait for 10 years to see if there could be a difference based on the hemodynamic performance of that platform. So thank you very much, Andreas. Thank you very much, Christian. It was a very nice discussion, and I hope that you enjoy, and I wish you the best for the rest of the day.